Alright, here we go. Today is Wednesday, July 25th, 2018. Today is 12th of Never's first healing session, and today we're working to heal the root causes of a pattern of colic and a pattern of anxiety and whatever those symptoms represent in such a way as to align 12th of Never with his soul plan so he can live the life he came here to live. Alright, 12th of Never. This is your first session, so I'm going to explain in detail what's going on so it doesn't confuse you when it starts to happen. The first thing that's important for you to know is in this work, I'm not the one talking to you, because I've only actually just met you today, and I don't know you all that well on the conscious level, but your guardian angels know you, and they love you better than anybody else in the whole world. And all they want is for you to live your soul plan. And what the soul plan is, it's a term the guardian angels use to refer to your destiny, the life that you were meant to live. Because all of us were born for something. You were born for something. I was born for something. Everybody here has a destiny. Everybody here has a reason why they're alive. And what your guardian angels are here to do is get you back on track with your destiny so you can live the life you came here to live and fulfill your soul plan. And that's the most important thing for you to know in this work. Next, it's important for you to know that coughs, yawns, burps, sneezes, sweating are all common signals of energy starting to shift. If I do those things, it's a good sign of the energy moving. And if you do those things, it's a good sign of the energy moving. So don't let it throw you off when it starts to happen. Also, in this work, I do not read your mind. I do not see your thoughts. I do not see anything you don't want me to see. All right? Now, starting to soften the energy body and merging into 12th of Never's energy body. What this means is, it's going to be possible for me to feel what it feels to be in your physical body, feel how it feels to be in your emotional body, really understand what it means to be in your experience of sentience. Softening my own energy body and merging into 12th of Never's energy body, pulsing the upward rising earth energy from underneath the feet all the way up through the feet, pulsing it up through the hindquarters, all the way up the back of the energy body and sending it straight up out the top of the head. Sending it straight up out the top of the head, pulsing that upward rising earth energy all the way up through the vertical pillar of the energy body and straight up out the top of the head. Now, 12th of Never, it's very common in this work for you to feel comfortable enough to eat food, to relax, to stretch, to do the kind of things that you normally do while resting, and all of that is completely appropriate. There we go, merging these energy bodies together more deeply and pulsing the upward rising earth energy all the way up through the vertical pillar of the energy body and sending it straight up out the top of the head. Pulsing that upward rising earth energy all the way up through the vertical pillar of the energy body and straight up out the top of the head. Straightening, lengthening, lengthening the energy body as we do. There we go. Alright, 12th of Never. Now we're going to start to open up the front of the merged heart chakra. That's that that energy center right at the center of the chest, starting to open up the merged heart chakra, expanding the front of the merged heart chakra, calling up to those presences who really want 12th of Never to live his soul plan, asking for them to send a river of truth straight in through the front of the merged heart chakra, expanding that heart chakra wider. This is very common for our first session, 12th of Never. There's a lot of debris in the heart chakra, a lot of old fear, a lot of old sadness, a lot of old problems here in the heart chakra, starting to flush out the heart chakra with truth from those guardian angels above. There we go, flushing that heart chakra in the front and now opening up the back of the heart chakra and exhaling out the back, sending that river of truth in the front and out the back, in the front and out the back of the merged heart chakra. There we go, merging the energy bodies together more deeply, drawing the focus to the back of that heart chakra. Now opening up the back of the heart chakra, really opening the back of the heart chakra, calling for those guardian angels to send a river of truth in through the back of the heart chakra, now expanding that heart chakra wider. And now exhaling out the front, creating a river of truth in the back and out the front. And now flushing that turbulence all the way through the heart chakra, all the way through the heart chakra, back to front to back, and side to side. Now drawing the focus vertically out to the feet and through the feet, drawing that upward rising earth energy again, all the way up through the vertical pillar of the energy body, up the back of the legs, up the hindquarters, up through the vertical pillar of the energy body, and straight up out the top of the head. There we go, lengthening and straightening the pillar up even higher, even taller. Now drawing the focus to that intersection point of heart chakra and the vertical pillar of the energy body, letting a critical mass of energy build at that point until it pops, creating a bubble around all of us and expanding that bubble all the way around the entire stall, around the entire barn, around everywhere that 12th of Never lives and works, including all of it inside the bubble, and claiming the interior of the bubble as sacred, safe, private, healing, learning, growing space. Its clear only presences we invite in are welcome to join us, and all others move around the outside of the sacred space. Or if they break into the sacred space, they're breaking divine law, and bigger eyes than ours are watching them. There we go, feeling the space around us, feeling the bubble around us, now drawing up the upward rising earth energy all the way up through the vertical pillar of the energy body, and straight up out the top of the head, straight up out the top of the head, merging these energy bodies together more deeply. Now, reaching the intuitive channels all the way up, reaching up to those guardian angels who really want 12th of Never to live his soul plan, live the life that he came here to live. Asking for them to take the intuitive channels and pull the intuitive channels up to them, asking for their guidance, their support, their protection during the process today. There we go. And now calling for 12th of Never's own higher soul, that higher aspect of your own soul. There we go. Asking that higher soul for permission to do this work with your energy body today, offering the opportunity to place any limitations on the work and know they will be honored. We won't open any doors you don't want us to open. We won't go anywhere you don't want us to go. There we go, feeling the access, moving into the access, merging the energy bodies together more deeply. There we go, so I can even better understand what it means to be you, so I can see out your eyes and you can see out my eyes. There we go. All right, Al, asking those guardian angels, restating the intention to heal the root causes of 12th of Never's pattern of colic, his pattern of stomach problems, and his anxiety, and whatever those symptoms represent, in such a way as to align him with his soul plan, asking the guardian angels to heal the root causes of 12th of Never's pattern of colic and his pattern of anxiety, and whatever those symptoms represent, in such a way as to align him with his soul plan so he can live the life that he came here to live. Oh. Alright, the first thing the guardian angels are talking about is just a basic issue of energy alignment. What they're saying is, the front of your energy body has gotten bowed forward, and so there's very little upward flow coming up your back, and often that causes problems for horses like pawing or kicking or banging on the door. It can just be the feeling of that upward flow coming up through the front of your energy body and hitting blockages. So if we move the flow of energy to the back of your energy body, there we go. There we go. Then the energy body becomes more balanced, it becomes stronger, it becomes easier to deal with life. Merging the energy bodies together more deeply, now pulsing that upward rising earth energy all the way up the back, all the way up through the feet, all the way up the back of the energy body, and straight up out the top of the head. And asking those guardian angels what now to heal the root causes of 12th of Never's colic and anxiety and whatever those symptoms represent, so as to align him with his soul plan. There we go. The guardian angels are saying to start to feel the energy of the colic energy, and there's a big twisting feeling in the stomach, twisted energy, stuck energy in the stomach. We're going to start to get a hold of it and work it up and out, work it up and out. There we go, asking the guardian angels, what is this about? Asking the guardian angels to tell us whatever it is we need to know about this, so as to be able to heal the root causes of it. Whoa. What it feels like is there's big, tangled, dark energy strands in the stomach. It feels like trauma. So we're going to start to pull it up, and we're asking the guardian angels to let us know whatever it is we need to know about these trauma strands to be able to heal them and release them completely, merging the energy bodies together more deeply, getting a hold of the trauma strands, pulling them up and out, and as we pull them out, starting to burn those trauma strands so they don't fall back into the energy body or into the energy bodies of any of our friends. And there we go, pulling the trauma up and out of the stomach and asking the guardian angels to let us know whatever it is we need to know about this trauma to be able to release it fully, to be able to heal it fully. Here we go, reaching up to even higher guardian angels and pulling that trauma all the way up out of the stomach while pulsing that upward rising earth energy up the back, while pulsing the upward rising earth energy up the back. There we go. The guardian angels are talking about energetic parasitism and how sometimes it can affect our physical bodies as strongly, as effectively, as obviously as physical dimension parasitism. And they're talking about how sometime last winter, what they're saying is, and I'm going to have to babble it out and I might have to correct myself, the guardian angels are saying sometime last winter, some out-of-body presence started, for lack of a better term, feeding off of your energy body, feeding off of your energy. And that's triggered a lot of problems for you. Oh, I understand. So they're saying you had a bunch of past life trauma that had to do with food and had to do with pain and had to do with fear. And all that past life trauma was kind of bubbling around inside your energy body, but it hadn't really been triggered. And then sometime last winter, some out-of-body presence slammed into your energy body. And I'm not sure why yet, and maybe it'll become clear and maybe it won't. But when that out-of-body presence came into your energy body and started living parasitically off of you, it triggered all of this trauma that was kind of waiting to be triggered in your energy body. There we go. And so now the problems that we have are twofold. First of all, we have some parasite who's been living in your energy body for a while. And second of all, we've got all this old trauma that still isn't healed. There we go. And third of all, the guardian angels are saying this banging on the door is separate from the issues of the parasitism and separate from the issues of the trauma. But the banging on the door, you're trying to send a signal to somebody. You're trying to send a message to somebody upstairs. Oh, I understand. So the guardian angels are saying basically you're caught up in the perfect storm of interdimensional activity. First of all, you've got some out-of-body presence who's living in your energy body, feeding off of your energy. Second of all, you've got a bunch of past life trauma that's been waiting to be triggered and now has been triggered, and so you're not able to deal with situations of life for what they actually are in this life. Instead, you're dealing with all the different things that happened to you in the past, some of them in this life, some of this in previous lives, and all of those things are bubbling up to make your life really difficult. And third of all, you've got something on your soul contract that says that you agreed to send a certain number of messages to guardian angels upstairs. And the messages are audio messages, sound messages. And the best way you've been able to find is by beating the drum of your door. Okay, so now what the guardian angels have done is given us a beautiful gift where now they've laid out some of the issues to work with. And in this healing session, we're going to deal with as much of those issues as we can, the root causes of those issues as we can, in such a way as to align you with your soul plan. And we'll get through as much as we're able to get through today. And then we'll come back and we'll get more, because in this work, the way it always works is there are layers underneath everything. And so today we'll get up one layer, and one layer of healing will happen, and then the next layer will come up, and we'll deal with it as it comes. And for most horses, it takes between 3 and 5 sessions to be able to really get the root causes out. But then it will go away, and we'll know you're healed because the problems will go away and they'll never come back. So don't be afraid, and don't feel intimidated. Now merging these energy bodies together more deeply, pulsing the upward rising earth energy and reaching up to those guardian angels and asking them, what now? What do we start with? There we go. And they're saying, first of all, we've got to start with delivering this message that the kicking is about, because until we deliver the message, that's all you're going to be able to think about. And it feels like it's all you, right? There you go. Rock on, he's delivering the message. It feels like this is all you've been able to think about for a while, and that's also been serving to trigger the issues in your stomachs, to trigger the trauma in your stomach. So the first thing we have to do is deliver this message upstairs so the message can be delivered. So we don't have to keep sending it anymore, so we don't have to hang on to it anymore, so we don't have to feel like it's part of our thing to do. Let's deliver it and get it signed off on the soul contract, and then we can move on to that parasite, and then we can move on to the trauma. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to focus on anything we're saying. That's the guardian angels, they say. You're not going to be able to focus on anything we're saying. There we go. So, what we're going to do now is we're going to get a hold of the vibration of the message that you've been sending by banging on the door. And the guardian angels, I'm holding the vibration of the message you were supposed to send and the message that you've been sending just to see if we've been sending it right. Because sometimes we're not sending the message right, and so the big guys upstairs can't tell the message because we're doing it incorrectly. There we go. Thank you. So here's the message that's being sent. And now holding the vibration of the message that was supposed to be sent. So what this is part of a soul contract. Before you were born, everybody makes agreements for things we're going to do before we're born, and that's not even woohoo out there stuff. But before you were born, you agreed to send this message, whatever this message is, whatever the meaning is of the message, you agreed to send it. And somebody upstairs agreed to receive it. So now feeling the vibration of what you agreed to send, and feeling the vibration of the message that you've been sending. There we go. Feels like you've been sending it pretty accurately, which is good for you. And probably it's been confusing for you because you've been sending this message over and over again, but you still don't have the feeling of the assignment being checked off. You still don't feel like you're let off the hook for that part of your soul contract. So you keep sending the message. You keep slamming your leg into the door, wondering, when is it going to feel like I finally sent the message? So now what we're going to do is we're going to find whoever it is upstairs who's supposed to receive the message, and we're going to deliver the message to them. There you go. In such a way that we can get receipt of delivery, and we can sign off on the soul contract that you don't have to send the message anymore. There we go. Merging the energy bodies together more deeply. Good. You can keep pawing while we're sending it up. Okay? There we go, merging these energy bodies together more deeply, pulsing the upward rising earth energy all the way up the back of the energy body, all the way up the top of the head, now getting a hold of the vibration of that message. Wow, and I can feel it's an important message. I can feel it's not a silly little message they gave you to deliver. It's an important message that should be delivered. And so good for you for delivering it, even when it was scary, even when it seemed like maybe it would be a lot easier to just stop. Sighting straight up, sighting straight up. Okay. Asking the guardian angels to punch a hole in the sky. Oh, here, honey, I can move that for you. All right? There we go. It's all right. Because here's the thing, if you're not able to focus, if you're not able to really be present, it's going to be harder for you to understand that this actually happened. And so, let's not be distracted by anything, alright? There we go. Good release. Alright, now asking the guardian angels to help us get all the way up to whoever it is we're supposed to send this message to. Asking to be shown whoever it is upstairs, whatever that presence is in that much higher dimension that we're supposed to send this message to, and merging the energy bodies together more deeply so they can see it's really you sending the message. It's really 12th of Never who's sending the message. There we go. And now it feels like the top of the pillar of the energy body, or the top of the intuitive channels at the pillar of the energy body, have poked up into a much higher dimension room. And I think I see the angel upstairs that we're supposed to deliver the message to. Alright, so 12th of Never, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a hold of the vibration of the message, and we're going to lift it up. and deliver it up to this presence. And we're going to ask him, excuse me, there you go, to sign a receipt that says we delivered the message to him. You keep delivering it. Here you go. Here's the message. There we go. And now what we're going to do while we're all the way up here is we're going to reach up to his supervisors, to the guardian angels at an even higher dimensional level than he is, at an even higher level of importance, an even higher level of authority. And we're going to send the message to them too. And show the image of us delivering it to that first guy. So even if that first guy doesn't admit that he sent it, even if that first guy doesn't say, yes, that really happened, yeah, he really delivered the message to me, it won't actually make a difference because somebody bigger than him will know. And now reaching up to somebody even higher than them and delivering the message to them also, and trying to deliver it as precisely, as effectively as we can. There we go. And now asking those presences upstairs, if they're willing to sign a receipt of delivery, just to say that you got the message, and that 12th of Never doesn't have to send it anymore, because sending this message has been rough on him. It's been hard for him physically, it's been hard for the other horses he works with. And just not trying to be offensive to anybody, just saying that if you don't sign it, it's fine, we'll just go up higher to the next level. There we go. Now it feels like they're signing. There we go. So now what's happening is those guardian angels are signing receipt of the message, and we're handing the message up to them. There we go. Alright, now feeling the soul contract for this life, this incarnation, that we call 12th of Never, and that's the name that you go by in this life. Getting a hold of that soul contract. Alright, now asking those guardian angels that we delivered the message to, if they're willing to sign off on this soul contract, to sign off that he delivered the message. And it's okay if you're not willing to sign off, because we can always just go higher to an even higher level of angels. Whoa, there we go. Alright, I feel the signature hitting, feel the signature hitting the soul contract. Feel like pen on paper, you know? There you go. Now merging the energy bodies together more deeply. What we're going to do is make a lot of copies of this soul contract, as if we could Xerox a bunch of copies of this soul contract, as if we could make a whole bunch of what this is it's evidence that you really did deliver the message, and now it's been signed off for upstairs. And now we're going to broadcast this soul contract all the way up to the highest guardian angels we're able to connect with right now, just so everybody knows this message was delivered, broadcasting both the message and the delivery of the message and the proof of receipt of delivery of the message all the way upstairs. And now, here's the thing. You're going to continue to feel the habit energy of sending the message, because this whole life you've been supposed to send that message. It's been on your contract from the very, very start. And so you're so used to sending the message that it's almost in your physical body. It's just like muscle memory of anything else, you know? And so now what we're going to start to do is we're just going to start to heal the vibration of sending the message, because the message has been sent. They signed off on it. The contract has now been updated, and now we can move on to the next thing we're supposed to do on this soul contract, the next assignment, the next series of things we're supposed to work on. And that's awesome. But there's no need to keep sending the message, since it's now already been received by somebody that feels like they're even higher than the presences we originally contracted to send the message to, which is a really good sign, not a bad sign. And so now what we're going to do, oh, awesome, good release. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to start to work with the habit energy inside the energy body. There we go. So we no longer feel the need to keep sending the message that's already been delivered. And then we can turn to face forward on our life path, face forward into the future, so we can move on to the next assignment, whatever it is, so we can really let go of the assignment that's over, of the assignment that's past. Awesome. Rock on, pal. You're doing great. Merging these energy bodies together more deeply, pulsing the upward rising earth energy, and now asking the guardian angels to show us 12th of Never's own life path, the life path that 12th of Never was born to live. Oh, there we go. Alright, now 12th of Never, we're going to get you back on that life path, get you aligned with that life path again. Ooh, there we go. And what the life path is, it's just the energetic structure of the life that you were born to live. All of us have a life path because all of us have a life that we were born for. Whoa. And once we get onto that life path and we turn to face forward and turn to face up, it becomes much easier for us to do what we're supposed to do. There. Feel how it feels so relieving to have finally gotten that message delivered for real? Yeah. It's a really good feeling. Now asking those guardian angels who really want 12th of Never to live his soul plan to show us which way is up so we can align with up so we're not tumbled on the life path anymore. And asking them to show us now which way is forward. There we go. And now we turn to face forward, and it's beautiful. What it looks like is the guardian angels have superimposed your soul contract onto the image of your life path. And they're talking about how now it's time to move forward into the next assignment, move forward in the next thing you were born to do. That message is gone. There's no need to send it anymore. And now you're free. And now, what's the next thing? What's the next job? What's the next assignment? And I bet you, because we sent that message so much higher than you were originally contracted to send it, I bet you the next assignment is going to be something great. I think it's going to be something really, really awesome. So let's move forward into it, pulsing the upward rising earth energy up the back, really reaching up to those guardian angels way up high who really want 12th of Never to live his soul plan. And now let's start to move forward on that life path. There, and now the pencil point is turning back around to talk about that parasite, who, by the way, is starting to feel a little less comfortable being in your energy body now that we're on the life path. Which is a great example of how when we fall off our life path, it becomes so much easier for problems to occur in our life. And when we get back on our life path, there we go. It gets easier for us to clear out the problems. Whoa, there we go. Now, the guardian angels are starting to talk about this parasite. And they're talking about why the parasite came to be with you in the first place. There, and I'm really going to try and get it because I don't want to misspeak. Merging the energy bodies together more deeply, pulsing the upward rising earth energy. The guardian angels are saying there's always a reason why a parasite comes into a host life. There's always an answering vibration that the parasite is attracted to, or an activity that the parasite is attracted to. Oh, this is so funny. The guardian angels are talking about how you have a habit. The word they're using is gluttony, and they're talking about how you eat food really fast. They're saying you just gulp food down. You gulp food down, and then it starts to hurt your stomach, right? And the guardian angels are saying, oh, it makes so much sense, because a parasite, what they do is they suck off energy. They are gluttons. And this parasite was just attracted to your old problems of gluttony. This is just an old error pattern for you, an old mistake you make over and over again. And the guardian angels are saying, and now, what does gluttony really come from? It comes from an inner feeling of lack, an inner feeling of loss. I understand. They're saying the past life trauma that was coming up at the start of the session that's thick and tangled and heavy in your belly, that past life trauma, whatever that event was that caused the trauma, and the trauma is just the energetic structure of the bad thing that happened to you that's stuck in your energy body. There we go. The guardian angels are saying whatever that event was also had some feeling of loss. And so part of the effect of that past life event is you've had this feeling of need, of loss, of needing to jam yourself full of food, and that attracted the parasites. So all of these issues are linked into each other, the past life trauma and the parasite. And also the errors that we make in our own lives that we need to correct in order to move forward and live the life that you were born to live. So this is actually fantastic. Alright, so the guardian angels are saying now the next thing to do is to get out this trauma. And once the trauma is out, we can heal what's really underneath the trauma. And once we heal what's really underneath the trauma, there won't be that answering vibration for the parasite to latch onto, and the parasite won't want to be in your energy body anymore, and he'll shoot up and out. And that's what the guardian angels are saying, and now we're going to go for it, and we'll see what happens, and what comes up along the way, we'll deal with it as it comes. Whew, okay. Merging the energy bodies together more deeply and pulsing that upward rising earth energy all the way up the back of the energy body, straight up out the top of the head of the energy body. Straight up out the top of the head. Alright, now reaching into the energy body, reaching into the stomach, feeling that trauma, whole lot of sadness, whole lot of fear here. Let's start to scoop up the trauma. There we go, merging the energy bodies together more deeply and scooping the trauma all the way up out of the energy body and pulling it up. And now asking the guardian angels to tell us whatever it is we need to know about this trauma so as to be able to release it fully, so as to be able to heal it fully, so that 12th of Never is really healed of this problem and the colic goes away and never comes back. There we go. Oh, wow. Okay, 12th of Never. I actually don't think I've ever seen this before in a session, so I'm going to have to start to babble it out. And if I'm wrong, I can back up and correct myself. What it feels like is this trauma didn't come from a past life in the way that we normally define past lives. What it feels like is there was a life when you were supposed to be born as a twin, and there were two embryos inside of your mother's uterus, and you were one, and there was another who was the twin. And there weren't enough resources coming in to feed both embryos. The mother was eating, but the resources weren't enough for both babies. And then there started to be a kind of push-pull in between the souls of the two embryos, back and forth between the two, of trying to get the resources to build a healthy body so I can be born, so I can live. And it feels like there was also miscommunication in the soul plan. There was a lot of miscommunication from upstairs. And so both embryos, both babies, both twins, you and the other, both felt like you were entirely entitled to the resources. And so you both started grabbing for the resources. Meanwhile, this is all happening inside of your mother's uterus, all happening pre-birth. There we go. Whoa. Okay, so what it feels like probably is there are multiple past lives that are involved in this issue, and we'll get up one layer today, and then we'll come back for more. What it feels like is in that particular life, when there were the two embryos, you just decided you were going to be the greediest, and you took as much of the resources as you could away from your twin. You really went for it. And you intended to win, and that's a great thing about your personality. The problem is, it was a choice of gluttony, it was a choice of selfishness, it was a really bad move to make, and it feels like the other twin died. And you were born. And the problem was you made the mistake that almost all of us make almost all the time, where we've made an error, we've done a bad thing, we've made a mistake. And instead of looking at what we did and realizing, whoa, my twin died because I wouldn't share any of the resources, my twin died because of my own selfishness, and now I need to find some way to make this right again. You instead made the mistake that almost all of us make almost all the time, where you decided, okay, all right, I didn't make a mistake. We're not going to think about that as a mistake. And then you kind of doubled down in the decision to be greedy and decide you were going to live an especially greedy life. And that was the mistake. And now there are all these traumas in the energy body that came as a result of that mistake, came as a result of errors that you made out of greed, out of selfishness, and also out of refusing to acknowledge the error, out of refusing to acknowledge that you made a mistake. Does that make sense? Okay. So now here's what we can do. Merging these energy bodies together even more deeply and pulsing the upward rising earth energy first, we can start to clear out the trauma. And as we clear the trauma out of the energy body, we can correct the error of selfishness, and we can also correct the error of refusing to acknowledge errors, refusing to acknowledge that we made a mistake. Because then it feels like there was a string of lives after that life when we decided, I didn't make a mistake by stealing all the resources from my unborn twin. I didn't make a mistake. I did what I had to do to survive. It feels like there were a bunch of errors after that, life after life after life, where your guardian angels were trying to get through to you that it's a mistake to be gluttonous, it's a mistake to be selfish, and it's a mistake to not acknowledge our own errors. But you didn't want to see it, and most of us never want to see it, and so no one upstairs is being judgmental. But then, in that series of lives where they were trying to get you to learn the lesson, a bunch of trauma was accrued because a bunch of bad things kept happening to you because you were still being selfish, because you were still being greedy, and because you still weren't acknowledging errors. There we go. And that's where this trauma has come from. Meanwhile, it feels like that twin, the soul of the twin from that life where in the embryo you stole the resources from your twin, and so that twin was never born live. That twin didn't really make it out of there. It feels like that twin, meanwhile, has had a grudge against you ever since, which is understandable. And so the best thing we can do is just correct this error. Go back in time to before the error was made, crank it all the way back in time. And we can do it energetically. We can go back in time and correct errors. Let's go back in time and correct the errors in such a way as if that mistake never happened. And then the trauma will just pop up and out because there'll be no need for it to stay in your energy body. I know we're moving a little fast, pal. If I lose you, you let me know, okay? There we go, merging the energy bodies together more deeply, and now we're going back in time. Whoa, there we go. To the moment before we started making the mistake, and I feel us there in the embryo, and there's the other twin is right next to us, and we're really thinking about, I think we're asking the wrong question. We're asking ourselves, how can I get all the resources for myself? Which is the wrong question, you know? The right question is, how can I do what it is I'm supposed to do so I can live the life that I'm supposed to live? And that feels like a completely different thing. That doesn't feel like what we did at all. There we go. Softening the energy body, merging the energy bodies together more deeply, and now pulsing that upward rising earth energy. So what we're going to do is correct the energy imprint of that mistake. So it's as if that mistake never happened, and in that way maybe we can be forgiven by that soul who was our twin. And maybe we can let go of all the trauma from all the errors that have spun off as a result of these mistakes. And maybe we can move forward in our life healed. Now, my friend, remember, this is just one layer. There are a lot of layers to this, but this is the layer we can get today. Merging the energy bodies together more deeply, and now starting to correct those errors. And it's just the mistake of not acknowledging that we made a mistake. It's just the mistakes of greediness. It's the mistakes of selfishness. There we go. And we're going to correct that error. And if we do it right, it will be as if the mistake never happened, and that blot is off our karmic record, and then the trauma should come right up and out, tuning the energy body to heal the vibration of the energy of the mistake, not acknowledging mistakes. And we all do this, and so no one upstairs is being judgmental. And correcting the error of gluttony, correcting the error of selfishness, correcting the error of greediness. Whoa, okay. Now let's get a hold of all that trauma in the stomach that came as a result of these mistakes. There we go, and now pulling that trauma all the way up and out of the energy body, pulling it all the way up. Good job, good release, pal. Good release, pulling that trauma all the way up and out of the energy body, straight up and out of the energy body and out the top of the head. Up and out the top of the head. Up and out the top of the head. There we go, buddy. Now we're going to go back for more of the trauma, merging the energy bodies together even more deeply, reaching down into the energy body for the trauma, pulling all the way up, pulling all the way up. There we go, pulling that trauma all the way out of the energy body. Pulling the trauma all the way up and out of the energy body, and right away burning it so it doesn't fall back down into the energy body or into the energy bodies of anybody you work with. There we go. One more time. All right? One more time, reaching into the energy body, grabbing a hold of the trauma and pulling the trauma all the way up and out of the energy body, straight up through the vertical pillar of the energy body and up out the top of the head. And burning that trauma. Whoa, there we go. And burning that trauma. There we go. All right, starting to feel a lot better, right? All right, one more time. And for any more strands of trauma that are left in this energy body, reaching in, grabbing a hold of them, and pulling them all the way up and out. And straight up out the top of the head. And straight up out the top of the head and burning it. And as we burn it, continuing to correct the errors. And now the guardian angels, it's like they're lifting off the curtain to reveal who the parasite actually is. And it's karmically perfect because the parasite who's been living in your energy body, feeding off of your energy, feeding off of your resources, was the twin that you stole from in that previous life when the two of you were sharing a uterus together. It's just the twin who's been here all along trying to feed off of your energy. And so now a really good apology goes a long way because we've corrected the error. And now that trauma is clearing up and out of the energy body. Now the best thing we can do is say, I'm sorry. And don't say it if you don't mean it. But a good apology goes a long way. And then maybe we'll be able to send him up to the light. And then you'll be free of that. 12th of Never, do you want to apologize to this twin? It feels like he's right here. Do you want to say I'm sorry? There we go. Okay. It feels like an I'm sorry to me. Asking the twin if he accepts that. And are you willing to leave? Whoa, there we go. Now pointing the top of the pillar straight up toward the light, we can send this soul straight up toward the light. Oh, so he's not an earthbound spirit anymore. So he's not stuck in your energy body anymore. There he goes. You felt the difference, right? There he goes. All right. Now asking the guardian angels, what now? To heal the root causes of 12th of Never's colicking, his pattern of colicking, and his anxiety, and whatever those symptoms represent, so as to align him with his soul plan. One more thing before we close. Guardian angels are talking about soul fragments, and what that is sometimes when trauma happens, trauma affects our energy bodies just like it affects our physical bodies. And the trauma gets stuck in our energy bodies. And then pieces of our own soul that we refer to as soul fragments, they have the response to the trauma that's something like, wow, this is too much for me to handle. This is too scary. This is too painful. I'm going to break off of the big soul. I'm going to go hide somewhere until this trauma is gone, and then I can come back. And now we've cleared a lot of trauma out of your energy body. In this session, a huge amount of the trauma that had been stuck in your stomach is now up and out. And now some of those soul fragments are ready to come back. 12th of Never, these are pieces of your own soul. Okay, we're not bringing back anybody else's soul. We're not bringing back pieces of any other energetic structures. It's just the pieces of your own soul who are ready to come back. Do you want them back? All right. Merging the energy bodies together even more deeply, creating a sacred space in between the hands for the soul fragments to come back into. There we go. And now calling for all of 12th of Never's own soul fragments that are ready to come back. All the pieces of 12th of Never's own soul that are ready to come back, calling for them to come back in. Whoa! And a bunch of them feel like they were displaced from the big soul whenever it was that the twins started living with you, which feels like it was right after you stole the resources from him and effectively murdered him. So it's a huge amount. There we go, merging the energy body. There we go. So it's a huge amount of your own soul that's ready to come back now. All right? The message is already sent. You don't need to send it anymore. I know it's hard to get used to. Now calling for those soul fragments to come back into the sacred space, calling for them to come into the sacred space now. All of 12th of Never's own soul fragments, calling them back into the sacred space. There we go. And now tuning the soul fragments to clean them up, clear them up, get them ready to come back in. Cleaning the soul fragments, clearing the soul fragments, getting them ready to come back in. And asking the guardian angels to send down a golden funnel to pour these soul fragments through, to continue to clean them and clear them and purify them as they come back in. And now starting to pour those soul fragments back into the energy body, pouring them through that golden funnel, in through the top of the head. Asking the guardian angels, is the top of the head the right place to pour them into? There we go. Seems like a yes. There we go, pouring those soul fragments all the way into the top of the head, moving them through the energy body like running waves of water over sand, moving each soul fragment back to its right place. There we go, feeling the soul fragments starting to click into place, move into place, and going for a secondary release of trauma. As we click each soul fragment back into place, let's push out any more trauma that's still stuck in the place where the soul fragments were. There we go. There we go, and running the upward rising earth energy up the back. And I'm going to hum a unifying frequency to bring all the pieces of soul fragment up to the same frequency to create a unified soul, so you don't feel like you're made up of jumbled Frankenstein parts, okay? There we go, pulsing the upward rising earth energy up in the back, feeling the unified soul, asking the guardian angels if there's anything more for us to do today to heal the root causes of 12th of Never's pattern of colicking, and also his pattern of anxiety, and whatever those symptoms represent, so as to align him with his soul plan so he can live the life he came here to live. Is there anything more today? That might be it for today, huh? All right, we're going to start the closing process, and if anything else comes up, we'll deal with it as it comes. Starting by correcting all the mistakes that we made in this session today, correcting all the errors that we made, so the session happened exactly the way it was supposed to happen. Whoa. And including all of the omissions, everything that was left out, so the session happened exactly the way it was supposed to happen. Taking all the work that was done poorly and raising it up to well done with our own efforts. There we go. And now raising the work as close to divine perfection as we're able to get it with our own efforts today, and asking those guardian angels to take the work all the way up to divine perfection to really heal the root causes. Whoa. Coughs are a common signal of energy shifting, so something just happened. Whoa. Heal the root causes of 12th of Never's pattern of colic, and also the pattern of anxiety, and whatever those symptoms represent, so as to align him with his soul plan so he can live the life he came here to live. Taking all the work that was done well and raising it up as close to divine perfection as we're able to get it right now with our own efforts. All right, now wrapping the work, putting a seal on the work that's been done today, sealing up the work that's been done today, sending it up, reaching up to the highest guardian angels we're able to connect with right now. Let's see if I can get to the level above the level that's signed for receipt of the message. Sending the work up to them and asking them to make it divinely perfect. There we go. All right, 12th of Never. Every time you work with this recording, the energy is imprinted into the recording, so you can work with the energy over and over and over again. You can deepen the healing, you can deepen the understanding, and you can strengthen the learning for yourself. All right, good work.